the other two ways, this is called the sine area formula. So you need to know two sides and an angle. So what I want you all to understand is that I use letters like A, B, C, but that doesn't mean that when you approach the question, it's going to be A, B, C. It could be different letters. The key is you have to know two sides and the angle in the middle of those sides. That's what I'm trying to say. Just kind of clarifying it from last period. So for this one, you're taking 1/2, and then it's two sides, and then the sine of the angle between. That's what this formula is saying. So don't be stuck on that ABC, okay? It could be different letters. So two sides, and then you have to know the angle in between those two sides. That's that formula. And then the last formula is Heron's. Now for that one, you don't need to know any angles. You just need to know the three sides. The first thing you're going to do is find your perimeter, semi-perimeter. That's what this is. Does anybody remember what the prefix semi means? Half. So in other words, you know how to find a perimeter, right? You're trying to find a perimeter of the shape, you add up all the sides. You got to take half of the perimeter of the triangle. And then that number you get, you're putting it 4 places. First, you're putting it in the front. And then you're going to take that number and subtract the first side. Make another parentheses, take that number, subtract the second side. Make another parentheses, take that number, subtract the third side. All right, so that is all of your formulas. Now, we won't be testing you over this one. These are the two that you need to understand. Any questions? All right, so let's go. Let's look at example 1. We have to find the area. And I have a triangle. One side is 4, one side is 5, one side is 7. So we have a triangle where we know all 3 sides. So the first thing you need to do is find the semi-perimeter. Take all 3 sides, add them up, and divide it by 2. That's the first step. Take your 3 sides, add them together. And divide it by 2. What you get? What's 4 plus 5 plus 7? 600? 16. And then 16 divided by 2? 8. So this is the number I'm going to use, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is take that 8. And then I want you to make, so you're going to write the 8. And then I want you to make 3 parentheses. And put an 8 in front of each one of those parentheses. And then subtract each side. So in the first parentheses, I'm putting a -4 because that's one of my sides. The second parentheses, a -5. The third parentheses, a -7. So you're typing that whole thing in under the square root. So the only way you can mess this up, well, there's a couple ways. But sometimes people forget to put the 8 first. And they just put it in the 3 parentheses. Some people mess up by finding S, which I'm not really sure how, but there are people who do that. So go ahead and type that in your calculator. Yes.
Do we have the formulas?
No formulas. I give you nothing. You have to know law of sines, law of cosines, the area. I think that's it. Oh, SOHCAHTOA. I'll try to write on the board the things you need to know for the test. I mean, I don't know why though, because I write on the board and people don't look at it. But no formula is given. So go ahead and type that in your calculator. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of the work so that it's a little easier to type in the calculator. So for example, I would have the 8, and then I would change this to a 4, change this to a 3, and change this to a 1. So that it's a little, less numbers to type in. Because if you accidentally type it in wrong, one thing wrong is going to mess up your whole answer. So what I got when I did this was 9. So it's going to tell you, the calculator will say 4 root 6, but we want that in terms of a decimal. So if you hit that button, it should change it to 9.798. And because I don't know the units, I'm just going to say units squared. Because I don't know if it's inches, feet, miles, centimeters. All right, go ahead and do example 2 by yourself. So you got to put it all under a square root. You forgot the square root. Extra note packets back there if you want to grab another one. On the other side. Yeah, there. All right, who agrees with my answer? 5.333. Any questions? Pretty simple, right? I'm not sure what would be complicated. What do you think might be complicated? Maybe just memorizing the formulas, but again, think the more you work with it, the easier it gets. All right, so now let's look at example 3. So we have triangle ABC, ABC. Angle A is 80, little b is 1, and little c is 3. So again, notice that we have 2 sides and the angle in the middle. That's the key. So we're going to take, to find the area, 1/2 little b, little c, sine of angle A. 1/2, 3 times 1, sine of 80 degrees. Very simple. Go ahead and type it in. All right, who got 1.477? Pretty basic, right? All right, do the next one by yourself. Example 4.
Did you hear that Costco's gonna start selling Kirkland energy drinks?
No. You drink energy drinks? You drink energy drinks?
No. More of a coffee kind of person. Coffee or just regular soda. Those are too high dose. Like I'll split an energy drink for between a few days.
My daughter drinks Alani's every day. Like, she has an addiction to Alani.
Yeah,
I
she
should?
just died
Yes.
From drinking
Alani's are bad for you?
Yeah, for her stomach.
You shouldn't drink them? Well, I'm gonna tell her she gonna lose her mind.
That gets people, like, they got rid of those supercharged lemonades, but, I mean, it's just people having too much. Is that the-
I'm gonna tell her. Said people said you shouldn't drink it. All right, who got 3? That's good, because the sine of 30 degrees, I know you all don't remember from the unit circle, is 1/2. So you take half of 12, you get 6, and then you take half of 6, you get 3. All right, so we're gonna skip over questions 5 and 6. Let's go directly to 7. I want you to try to do that one on your own. We have Alina planting a garden in her yard. She uses 3 pieces of wood. 1 piece is 20, 20, and 15. So you have all 3 sides. Find the area. So what formula are you going to use? Heron's or law of sines? Heron's. Did you put times 2? Well, because they're being multiplied, you just square it. So if you don't want to put it twice, you can square it, not multiply it. You gotta take the whole thing. Don't forget to put it all under a square root. All right, so I got 139.054 feet squared. What y'all think? Who got that? All right. Last question. Anything you need to explain about? I mean, area, I think is simple out of everything we've done, but I just want to make sure that we're okay. Okay. Last question, we got to do 2 things. We have to find the area and we have to find the perimeter. So it says that we have a garden. The garden will be a triangle. So I'm gonna make me a triangle. 2 sides of the triangle will be 33 and 24. And this is really important. It's telling us that the angle between the 2 sides is 62. So that's pretty easy to find the area. So we're going to use law of sines or herons? Law of sines. So you're going to take 1/2 side times the sine of the angle in the middle. Okay, who got that? 349.647. Okay, so to find the perimeter though is a little tricky, right? Because how do you find the perimeter? You have to add up all the sides. We don't know this side, right? How do I find it? Law of what? For law of sines, we need to know an angle side pair, so we don't have that. Law of cosines. So go ahead and flip back to your notes, set it up. Law of cosines, how are you gonna find it? A squared plus B squared minus 2 times BC sine of angle. So I'm gonna give you all a second to look back, see if you can find that. Third side, using the law of cosines. Now remember, you have to know law of cosines for the test. So we're trying to find this. We know these 2 sides. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you all set it up. And because we're using the law of cosines to find a side, We don't have to break it up. We can type the whole thing in our calculator. So when you think you have that third side, raise your hand and I'll tell you if I agree. I'll give you a hint. The third side should be between 30 and 31. If you get a number between 30 and 31, then you probably got the right side. That's what I got. So you don't have to break it apart. You just type the whole thing in the calculator under a square root. You don't have to break it apart unless you're trying to find the angle. All right, so let's talk about it. Law of cosines. You take the sides you know, 24 squared plus 33 squared, minus 2 times the sides, cosine of the angle. You just type the whole thing under square root in the calculator. And then after you get the third side, you add all three together to get your perimeter.